Good morning, everyone. This is Norman Basigu, presenter with Ben Televisions. This is a special EndSARS discussion with respect to the protests happening in Nigeria right now, with respect to SARS and police brutality and general calls for change with respect to the government and what needs to happen. We're very thankful that you could all join us this morning, or wherever you're streaming or watching this from. We have a very exciting panel with us here today that I'd like to introduce. So hopefully the technology works on our part. So we have Eunice Atejude.
Hello.
There. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have Dele Ogun.
Good morning to you.
Lovely. We have Otunda, if we can get him on. Lovely. And we have
Otumba.
My mistake, sir. Thank you very much.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to let. Yeah, Otumba, you are welcome. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. And we have one more, Alistair, but we seem to have lost him. So when he jumps back in, that'll be all fine. So I think at this stage, some mini introductions for each of us would be really good. So I'll start before passing on to Eunice. So I'm based in London. I am a freelance presenter. I'm also a model and a future commercial lawyer. Very passionate about what's happening in Nigeria. I previously took part in a Black Lives Matter discussion with Ben Televisions, and here we are today. There's a lot happening, especially last night in Lekki and in Lagos, and we're going to get into it and we're going to discuss. That's me. So now, Eunice, if you could please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Eunice Atejude. I am the national chairman of the National Interest Party, one of the parties that the INEC people have been deregistering and re-registering. I was the last deputy national secretary of the Inter-Party Advisory Council. That's the overall body that looks after the political parties in Nigeria and relates with the NGOs and INEC and everybody on their behalf. I'm also a passionate advocate for changing the government in Nigeria, promoting the youth, young people with brains and vision and commitment to the cause of Nigeria, coming into government and taking over from the old guard. So I ran for the presidency in 2019, hoping also to garner more of us into the system. I helped quite a lot of young people get access to the polls through my party. And I am still here saying, let's come together. Let's come together because we can only end this by becoming active participants in the political structure of our country. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Eunice. And I think there's so many positive things that you said there. And it's all about, as we said, change, about being passionate, wanting not just a better Nigeria, but a better Africa. I'm Ugandan, but the issues that we experience are similar, if not the same. And now it's all about looking to the future. What can we do and what needs to be done? So thank you for all the work you've done over your career and what you're doing now in your time this morning. We've just got Alistair back on the line. We'll introduce him shortly. Thank you for joining us again. But firstly, on to Dele. If you could please introduce yourself, Dele. Thank you. You seem to be muted, Dele. Having a bit of a technical... He's frozen. We'll come back to Dele, no problem at all. Otumba, if you could please introduce yourself, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Otumba Olabode Oseni. I'm a broadcaster, public and political affairs commentator. I am 73 years old, but very younger. I mean, I could say 37, but because I still feel young, I still feel youth. And I live in London. I've been doing journalism, broadcasting for some years now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm very excited to hear. Oh, we've got Dele back. Dele, is that you? I've heard a bit of you just there. Perfect. Dele, the signal's a bit off. We can't hear you. We heard a bit of you just then, but we'll come back to you. I'm very excited to welcome back Alistair. Alistair, if you could please introduce yourself and where you are.
Thank you very much, Normal. All the way from the most beautiful nation on Mother Earth, Nigeria, the most populous Black nation, Nigeria. But nevertheless, the country where presently we having a lot of challenges. And as we all seen around the world globally, talking about the issue EndSARS, which has moved from the normal demand to a wider demand on good governance and leadership across the country. So I hope that we have a good interaction here. Once again, thank you very much.
Sure. Lovely. Thank you. We seem to have lost Dele. Hopefully, when he comes back, we can get him into the conversation. Before passing things on to you, Alistair, to chair, I just had to kick things off, I think, in a very fitting way of last night's events in terms of Lekki. So the protests have been going on for some time, but I think yesterday is a very good starting point. The events of Lekki Tollgate were a bit of a shock to all of us in terms of it's becoming clear that Nigeria will never be the same again, and the Nigerian youth are making their voice heard. Just to give some context on last night, the protests against police brutality, and as Alistair just said, more generally about good governance, appeared to have turned violent last night, despite the statewide curfew in force, with eyewitness and video accounts of protesters being harmed and even shot in some instances. And so I'd like to kick off this sort of point to the floor and everyone here. What do we think needs to happen to help ensure that tension is lowered and de-escalated in a non-violent manner to ensure the safety of Nigerians as things continue? What do we think needs to happen now?
Who's going first?
Well,
It's open.
It's open. Okay. Alicia, do you want to go first? Oh,
Miss Eunice, go.
Ladies first. Okay, so
Ladies
for
first.
me,
Okay.
for me, I think it is important that the protests continue. I say that with a little caveat. It is very important that we continue this protest. However, we should start to like streamline the way we protest so that we will have less cost to lose lives. For example, we can start to tell everybody, okay, for Lagos State today, we are facing the, for example, Alausa, the Lagos government house. That's where we are going. Anybody that is protesting anywhere other than in front of the Lagos State government house is not part of the ENDSARS protest. So that everybody, even if there are like 5 million, 10 million Nigerians involved, all of them just march straight to Alausa, and then everything happening anywhere else does not concern them. And then reduce the inconvenience to everybody else. Like, okay, stop blocking the roads, continue the protest, but make sure that traffic is flowing as well. Reduce the opportunity for the hoodlums to come in and scatter the protest, because the government will continue to try to use us against us. I've talked to a lot of people, and some of the kids who went to beat up other people who were protesting were paid 500 naira. Just 500 naira to get out there and cause havoc. So people are hungry. So some people will fall into, some people don't even understand what's going on. They don't know what SWAT is. They don't know what ENDSARS is. You give them 500 naira and give them a knife or give them a broom or whatever. They go out there and they start to misbehave. But it's not, we don't blame them. We blame those who are using them. But I'm saying let's continue this protest. Just avoid complete halt of the government, of the individuals who don't want to be part of the protest, but who support it, but from afar. Let's be considerate, but let's keep the pressure going. And while we're doing all that, let's start getting into the politics of things. I've been talking to a lot of the kids I work with. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to politicize this thing. Don't talk about politics. We should just fight the government. You can't fight government without organizing politically. We must organize politically. We can remove all these people. The kids that are coming out now are in millions. We have 30, 40, 50 million Nigerians coming together to say we pick young Nigerians who are accountable to us, who are reliable, who can be trusted, and we vote them. It wouldn't even matter what political parties they come from. As long as we identify the ones we want and we go out there, we vote them, we stay back, we defend the mandate, we will be able to change the government. And it is when we change the government that we will know that ENDSARS has succeeded. That's the entry point I want to give us, and then we'll elaborate as we go.
Thank you very much, Eunice, for that passionate and very informative perspective on that. Before we pass on to the other members of the floor, I would like to introduce back Dele. I think Dele is back in the conversation. I've been informed. Dele Ogun? Perfect. And we've also got another speaker, Adelaja.
Yes, apologize for that.
Adeola. No worries. So we've also got Adelaja as well. Are you both here? Can you both hear me? Perfect. So I'm going to
thank you. I can hear you.
Yes, I
Good
can.
morning.
Good morning, sirs. Before we introduce both of you, I'm going to pass also to Alistair and to Ontumba to ask their views on what needs to happen now before we introduce both of you. So, Alistair or Ontumba, any views on, based on last night's events, what needs to happen now to ensure the safety of the protesters and moving forward? What's your perspective? Anyone take the floor?
Well, okay. Thank you very much, Norman. Thank you very much. As Eunice said, let me start by saying I am mourning. I'm a father. I'm a parent of children both girls and boys, and I know exactly what it is to lose anybody. I am really mourning. I have cried, and I'm still crying. It is very sad. At this time of our life, where do I use the parameter of 60 years? That are yet to understand what it is all about governance. And I have no command or stuff from with all the people that have governed the country, apart from maybe one that understand what governance is all about. And this is really very sad. And Yoruba people say when two children are trying to fell a tree, it's the elderly that know which side of the forest the tree is going to fall. I have foreseen this. I have foreseen this because we are such a set of human beings that have no values, we put nothing on human beings. We don't respect human beings. And I want anybody to challenge me what we can write home about Nigeria the last 60 years, that we can say this is what I can take to the bank, that this country have been doing. There are provisions from learning. We shouldn't be rookies anymore in governance. We have all what it takes. The amount of resources we have is more than enough to even be better than America. See the little time all these young people come to the fore. When they now organize themselves, see what they've achieved within the last 12, 13, 14 days. So, and like I said in my introduction, at my age 73, I still feel youth in my heart. And I feel very sad this morning that I see them as children, that we find it difficult to manage. But you see, because of the kind of education we all have, or most of us have, because of the people that we elect, we select, they select themselves to govern us. Because as far as they are concerned, the only education they need is to have been trained in the garage and use the money to get to where they are today. And it's also very shameful to all the leaders in the country that at least they allow children to die. They are unable to know that what they are doing is wrong. They are killing our children. I don't know why. I have seen, since I've been in Europe 50 years, I've watched and seen many protests. You don't allow people to die unnecessarily. This is a shame. It is a shame on all the leaders, even with those states that are calling for coffee. On what basis? What is the argument? Why are they calling for coffee for what? These are people protesting peacefully. And it is also like Unit said, we could have told them, say, you know what? We recognize you people protesting, but use one place. You still get your message across. Use one space and stay there. When I look at Belarus, when I look at many other places where millions, not 1,000, how many of these children that you find it difficult in your heart to manage them? But because most of our leaders have agenda, and unfortunately, I have to say this. I have to say it's too late. They lost it. They've lost it. They lost the plot. I want to see how they want to manage 2023. I want to see how they want to continue governing Nigeria without these people. We cannot take them away. You cannot take their right away from them. That's my initial reaction. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for that passionate and very honest and sincere. This is what we need. It's a very sincere approach to what's going on. And I think it will help the viewers and anyone that's watching will tune in to understand what a Nigerian is going through when they're seeing what's happening in their country. More importantly, what needs to be done. This idea that it's the young people that are trying to push forward this change for the future. Me doing just some reading online, just the idea that many haven't experienced steady electricity, haven't enjoyed free education, have been disrupted by strikes, lack of adequate healthcare, things of that nature. So now it's all about trying to get those foundations in place to give them the future they need. So thank you very much for being so sincere in what you've just said. If I can bring in Alistair very quickly to present your views on this, if you have any, sir, just on.
Yeah, thank you, Norma. I think I will leave Prince Adelaja, who is in, or Mr. Dele, who are in, to avoid the network problem. So let me allow maybe Dele or Prince Adelaja to make their comments.
Okay, thank you.
All right, my apologies. I've changed location. Very briefly, I'm the author of The History of Nigeria, A Fatherless People. And I think everybody now understands why I titled the book A Fatherless People. The events of yesterday underline the significance of that title. Yesterday, what those people did, they killed more than those youths. They killed the concept of one Nigeria. Because who was one Nigeria sold to? It was the youths. It was the youths who had the belief in the concept of a united Nigeria. So they killed one Nigeria yesterday. But they did more than that. They actually killed the Black Lives Matters movement. Because how can we now tell the rest of the world that Black Lives Matter when our government has shown that those lives do not matter one bit? So we want to congratulate Buhari on his remarkable achievement. He has killed the dream of one Nigeria for the youth, and he has killed the movement Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Dele, for again, this is a very hard topic, and I can only thank you for how honest and how sincere you were in that. And I think there's something very, very poignant you said just then, the idea of the dream of one Nigeria and how that has been destroyed. And me being, one of the younger members on this panel, I'm 24 years old, the idea of, the brain drain in Africa, so the idea that African youths and people having to migrate, become economic migrants in search of a better life. That was the situation of my parents, the idea that you have to leave in order to just get a start in life, but you're not returning. And so now there's that concern of, look, if I'm watching all these events now in London, will I feel like I can go back home one day to work, to help the country improve? And I think about this a lot. As somebody who's done legal work in Uganda and in Ghana, in terms of resettlement or in terms of helping my country or going back to Africa, you see these things and you wonder, is it possible? And what can the younger generation do, given these sorts of events that are happening before our eyes? But I would like to pass on. We do have one more speaker that I haven't had. Sorry, it was Adelaja. If we can get some words to me very quickly before we continue the conversation. Adelaja, are you there?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. And let me quickly say that what is happening in Nigeria is genocide, because we don't have to, hide our words, and the whole world should know what is going on. As of yesterday in Lagos, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State declared a curfew, which was reviewed later that it will start by 9 o'clock. So the protesters, they were gathered peacefully at Lekki Toll Gate 1 in front of Oriental Hotel, and at about 6:37, army moved to the location and they began to fire live bullets at peaceful protesters who were not carrying any arm. They were there. They were protesting protesting against police brutality that has become a norm in Nigeria. That has become an extortionist unit of the Nigerian police, and they have become a kidnapping unit of police, and they have done all sorts of evil against the Nigerian people, not only in Lagos, across the state in Nigeria. And people came out to demonstrate to government of the need to scrap this unit of, dreaded police unit in the Nigerian police force, which we are calling on them to change the name to Nigerian Police Service and not Police Force. Now, the whole world have seen what the Nigerian army have done on camera, how they were killing our people in Nigeria, and they ran to social media, to their Twitter handle, to deny that they did not shoot at anybody. As at this morning, some of them have positioned themselves as sniper on Access Bank building in VI. Some of them have positioned themselves as sniper on
Oh, and I had a very good point just there. I think
record.
he might have lost it. Well, we go. He's back. He's back. Well, he's back. He's back.
All of these things are on record. All of these things are on record. The whole world is seeing what is going on. Just yesterday, former Democratic presidential candidate of the United States, Hillary Clinton, came out to say to call Nigerian government to order to stop killing protesters. These are usually these are against UN convention. These are against charter that we signed at the UN and other international body on rights of the citizen in Nigeria. So we are saying all of these things for the whole world to know what is going on. As at this morning again, Nigerian army went to Shangisha, CMD Road, Magodo, and they started shooting sporadically to scare the people in that axis. All of these things are happening. This is not a case of anybody trying to overthrow government, but it is the government led by President Muhammadu Buhari that is sending soldiers to go and start intimidating and killing the Nigerian people. Of course, a lot of us have seen all of the pictures, all of the videos of patriotic Nigerians being gunned down by the order of President Muhammadu Buhari, and this thing will be in the history. Of course, he has done it severally. He did it in 1984 when he brutally, seized democracy. Now he's doing it again in 2020. He has started it in 2015 when he laid siege on the Shiite, the peaceful protester in the city of Zaria in Kaduna State, where over 1,000 people were killed by the order of the commander-in-chief of armed force. The same thing are the people who were agitating for restructure of Nigeria, the IPOB, where he sent soldiers to kill them. And everybody at that time, they didn't know what was coming. People were feeling that it is normal. They were the troublemaker. So now, are the peaceful protesters in Lekki, in every other part of Nigeria, a troublemaker? These are questions we need to ask ourselves, because they slap my brother, I turn my eyes and say it does not concern me. By the time they slap you, who is going to stand there to defend you? This is exactly the attitude Nigerian people have exhibited in the past, and now it is now facing every one of us. So I am calling on the international community. I am calling on Nigeria in diaspora. This is not a matter of speaking grammar. This is a time of speaking action. This is a time of standing firm with our fellow countrymen to ensure that this killing stop immediately and Buhari is brought to book. All his perpetrators and all his collaborators are brought to book. It's a serious trouble in Nigeria. As I speak to you, I am speaking as a Nigerian, I'm speaking as an activist, I'm speaking as a politician, I'm speaking as a leader, I'm speaking as a father, and I'm speaking to conscientize the Nigerian populace home and abroad that what is going on in Nigeria is genocide, and we have to call everyone that can come to our aid for this thing to be stopped immediately, unless we are not going to have any country left before we open our eyes. Please, Nigerian people, you should wake up. Nigerian people, this is not the time to stay back. It is the time for action for everybody, and use every resources at our disposal to ensure that Buhari is brought to book for this genocide, for this sacrilege he has committed against the good people of Nigeria. This is not a matter of whether I am a Muslim or I am a Christian, I am an Hausa, I am Igbo. This is a crime against Nigerian people. So Nigerian people must stand together. They must not allow him to use his regular religious and ethnic bias to divide and polarize people in this war. Nigerian people must stay together. This is a fight for all Nigerians against the brutal people in government.
Thank you, Ade. As you can see, this is a very passionate topic. You know, our lives, our hearts, whether we're here in London, in Nigeria, we're all connected. And no one can deny, with the power of social media, we can all see this in real time. This isn't the 2000s where you're hearing things or waiting for the news. You know, with Twitter, with Instagram, we're able to see things happen in real time. And that's why someone like me, I'm in London, I'm just going on my phone and I can see videos of things of that happening. So we're speaking from a very factual standpoint of what's going on. And that's why we're all called to action to try and at least discuss what we think needs to happen in a positive way for the future of Nigeria and also for the future of Africa. Youth and old coming together to champion for change. We're now going to pass on to a quick break, so please do stay tuned. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation and delve deeper into it. Thank you for tuning in, and please stay on. Right, welcome back everybody to our discussion, the EndSARS special discussion, where we're discussing what's happening in Nigeria right now. That's been going on for several weeks now. The protests happening across Nigeria with respect to police brutality, and now which appears to have morphed into good governance and calls for that and calls for general change in that holistic sense. We have all been sort of shocked. We've been alarmed by the events of what we've seen last night at in Lekki at the toll gate with the shootings and the reported harming. And now I'm joined by an amazing panel of individuals from Nigeria and here to discuss what is going on, to discuss what needs to happen, and to discuss our perspectives on this in a positive way, in a positive and forward-thinking way. So to remind you, we have Eunice, we have Alistair, Dele, Otumba, and Adelaja on our panel today. So I'd like to kick off the next part, sort of asking more generally. So to any, again, I'm Ugandan, but I've lived in London my entire life, but I think I would love to get a perspective sort of on any Nigerians having grown up in Nigeria or lived there for a period of time or just traveled there. Have you had any experiences that have been negative with SARS? Are you able to speak on any personal experiences if you wish to? Is that something that you're willing to do at this point? And if so, are you able to share any examples of things that have happened that you thought weren't right at the time, just to give context to the conversation and how it's been relevant to you in your life? Again, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you are willing to, that would be great.
We just go, anybody?
Yeah, anybody go.
I generally wear a lot of short things and a lot of high heels, stilettos. So, and I go out a lot at night. So I've had a lot of run-ins with these men of the SARS unit, and all the time it's always about more money, and they do actually try to arrest you. Like I was in a situation once where they literally wanted me to get into their vehicle, leave my car, get into their vehicle and follow them to the station. For what? What exactly was my offense? I looked like a shower. I said, I look like a shower. I'm in my car. I'm actually driving. I'm not even on the street, but I look like a shower, and that's enough for you to get me in your car and go with you to your street. I said, look, I don't want to have to do that. I actually have an appointment. I had to literally beg and give them 50,000 naira so as to continue without having to get into their car and get driven off to wherever for whatever reason, because I looked like a shower. So that was, I think that was probably nothing major for the most kind of experiences I've heard. But honestly, when you think that just dressing up in, I don't know, outfits that seem to suggest that you are seeking for, I don't know, soliciting for jobs as a prostitute or whatever, that policemen will actually stop you and try more or less to kidnap you. It's disheartening. I mean, it was a big deal for me. I was quite young at the time, to be honest, but it was still something that I kept thinking about. And one of the reasons I'm scared to have my children grow up in Nigeria, because I think about my little girl and I'm like, so one day she too will be, you know, in a car, actually, not even walking on the street, but in a car, and she'll be stepped out of the car and told to get into a different vehicle that would take her away somewhere where nobody would even have access. There were no phones at the time, nothing. But I still had to figure out how to raise 50,000 naira or gather it from all the little money I had for the party I was going for and give it to them just so as to not have to go to wherever it was they were planning to take me. I've heard a lot of things. I had one of my friends tell me about how his friend was shot in the head right there and then as per SARS operatives trying to ask for money or whatever it was, and then they decided they were armed robbers and right there and then shot him in the head and he was dead. And till tomorrow, he has not recovered from that shock. And these are things that happened in the 80s. Sorry, in the 90s, 1996 or something, I can't remember. So it's like everybody in Nigeria, directly or indirectly, has a story about SARS. But it's not just SARS. Whether you talk about civil service in Nigeria, whether you talk about even the hospitals, you go to hospital with somebody who has been shot and they won't treat the person because there are procedures that need to be followed or funds that need to be paid. So it's not just EndSARS right now. Everybody is saying, okay, EndSARS is the first step. But there's everything wrong with the country and we need to start fixing these things. And this is why I keep telling us, there are lots of us in government in Nigeria who don't care. In fact, there are so many whose only joy is to see everybody suffering. We need to remove these people from the offices they occupy and put people who love Nigeria and Nigerians in power so that they can start making the decisions. A lot of people are telling me Buhari needs to resign. They need to put this person in power. It doesn't work like that. There are laws, and these laws are the processes that must be followed for these things to start happening. No matter how much we protest, if we do not take steps to actually change the people making the decisions for us, we are going to keep protesting. They'll keep killing our children and nothing will happen. Clinton can write anything she wants. You and anybody can make noise. The worst they can do is to withdraw funding for the government in Nigeria. But Nigeria in itself will probably still be able to raise money. The monies they've stolen, they'll probably be able to bring it out just to keep hurting us because a lot of them actually enjoy it. I have been in the system now for about 3 years. And what I have done was go in there, try and figure out what's going on, whether in terms of the political party structures, in terms of the leaders we actually have, their intentions for us, their hopes for us, their reasons for being in government. Most of them is just for their own personal interest, money, money, money. Some of them, it is just to continue to make the rest of us miserable. Nothing else. They don't even care about the money, but they like the misery. So they are there to keep making sure that we are miserable. And we are sitting here protesting on the street. It is important. I'm saying we should keep that going. But we need to strategize. We need to come together. We need to organize ourselves and make sure we remove all of them. All of them. Not one of them should remain in power if we want to actually see this EndSARS thing materialize into practical results for everybody in Nigeria, born and unborn, future generations included. We need to remove these people from power. That's my advocacy. That's what I'm saying we should do. I have been scolded. Like the past 4 or 5 days, I am under fire. A lot of people have told me all sorts of things. You supported Atiku. I'm like, look at what's going on. There was Atiku or Buhari. It was clearly going to be one or the other. I knew today would come. And I said to my people, please don't let what is coming come. Let us remove this man before we start seeing death. And we didn't manage, and exactly what I was afraid of is what's happening. Why is anybody still wondering why I supported Atiku last minute? This is the reason. And I'm saying, let's not even support any Atiku. Let's not support any Buhari. Let's not support any Rufai or whoever, whatever their names are. Bring yourselves out. Come out here. There are 92 political parties in Nigeria. Join any. And then the rest of us will organize. We'll arrange the way we arrange for everybody to come out and like committedly fight this battle and be protesting. We must organize in exactly the same way for everybody to come together and start voting and defending the votes of young Nigerians with sense and with commitment and with love for everybody in Nigeria. I'm not interested in all this. Nigeria is not one anymore. Nigeria's oneness has been broken. Nigerians' oneness may never be broken. Nigerians are one. A lot of these kids you're looking at, they don't care. Whether you are Igbo, Yoruba, Calabar, they don't care. A lot of them don't care. Whether you are 50 or 60, whether your mother is rich or whatever, celebrity, they don't care. All they care about is Nigeria. Nigeria needs to move forward, and it is us that must do it. What I'm saying now is it will not be done by just protesting. We may get some results, but they will be temporary results because the real deal is the people who are making the decisions. And right now, all of them don't care about us. We need to change that. And until we do, we'll keep having these conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eunice. While the energy's still in the air, does any other panelist have anything they want to say in response to Eunice? Or if not that, speak on any experience if they've had with SARS in the past or with law enforcement or anything that speaks to why the protests are happening. Anyone take the floor? Off the energy of Eunice.
Eunice, and introduce some points of reality. I go back to the point that I made. Those who bought the dream of one Nigeria were those who were murdered yesterday. It was the youth of all ethnic groups, of all faith groups, of all political persuasions. There's a demonstration today outside the High Commission at 3 o'clock. I hope everybody listening will be there. The significance of the demonstration in London is this: the roots of the problem. The root of the problem is simple. Is the amalgamation of 371 distinct ethnic groups into a so-called political union by a country that is talking Brexit from a voluntary union of 27 mature, sophisticated democracies. It is that amalgamation that puts the lowest common denominators like Buhari in power, presiding, governing such a complex arrangement. You must tackle this problem at the roots. I heard Eunice saying, go and vote them out. But here's the reality of democracy as it operates in Nigeria. In all the other countries that the British decolonized from in Africa, they ensured that there was a minimum property qualification and education qualification before you could vote. And they understood the reason why. But in Nigeria, they gave us one man, one vote. In a country where the poverty levels are so high that those votes are going to be easily captured. In a country where the education standard is so low and collapsing, so that those votes will be easily captured. So you will always be outnumbered. Those of you who are talking the philosophy, the politics, the ideology, will always be outnumbered by those like Buhari who cannot find their school certificates. So that is why in a country where you have the president cannot find his school certificate, but his vice president is a professor of law, this and that. This is the reality that we have to confront. Otherwise, you'll keep going back and round in circles. Those youths, young people who were slaughtered yesterday were slaughtered on the altar of one Nigeria. The real Nigeria that the people should be aiming for is a Nigeria as it was, because the Nigeria is just the geographical label. What was the Nigeria as it was? It was an arrangement where the 371 ethnic groups were good neighbors, not trying to be one Nigeria, one people, because you can't be. Uthman Dan Fodio was a hero to the Fulani. He can never be the hero to the Kanuri, who he tried to conquer. El-Kanemi, the Kanuri leader, who drove the Fulanis out when they tried to conquer Kanuri land, Bornu as we know it now, can never be a hero to the Fulani. Let's come to terms with the reality. We've got to rebuild this structure from scratch. Buhari has buried Nigeria as it was. He has buried the dream of one Nigeria, which young people genuinely bought into. And as I said earlier, he has buried the campaign. He has killed the campaign. Hashtag Black Lives Matter, because if you can send soldiers out with live ammunition, with machine guns to machine gun unarmed young people like that, how can you tell the world that they should be adopting the attitude of Black Lives Matter? So we're at a very, very serious crossroads. We must not paper over this thing. We, the younger generation in particular, must learn the history, because the reason why they took history off the syllabus is the same as the reason why they turned the lights off yesterday before the killing started. It is such that they can operate in darkness and leave our people in darkness, not knowing where things are coming from. It is exactly the same mindset that has produced that outcome that we saw yesterday. We must reject it fundamentally, not cosmetically. 2023, there will be no elections in 2023. Mark my words. Anybody still talking about 2023, you're having a laugh. There's no way that they can entertain an election with this run-up. It's 2 years ago, 2 years away. You really think people are going to be campaigning for votes? This guy is going to try himself in power, and we must be ready to stop that. And we must take the campaign to where the trouble began. The trouble began in London. We must take the campaign to Downing Street. We must, if Buhari will not hear our people on the ground and stops our people on the ground speaking, then we take it to Downing Street. We'll take it to the House of Commons, and that is where we will force the change, because they were the architects of this whole problem. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Dele. I want to keep this going. Thank you very much for those very insightful points. We do have to dash over to a quick break. I won't be here when we come back from the break, so Alistair will be chairing the rest of the conversation. Do follow me on social media, just my name, Norman Basigo on Instagram. But I hope you enjoy the rest of the discussion. Again, this is the EndSARS special following the very dramatic events in Nigeria. So thank you very much for tuning in. We're going for a quick break. And until the next time, when I'm back, take care.
Thank you very much.
Well, wonderful conversation there, and thank you very much, Norma, for the insight and contribution to fostering this program. Well, we've heard what Mr. Ogun has just shared with us about the situation in the country and his belief that definitely the architect of the nation called Nigeria is the British, and there is and there could be a need for this conversation to continue at the House of Parliament in the United Kingdom. Nevertheless, now we have entered this phase in the country, Nigeria, the most populous Black nation. What then can we do in terms of finding the solution? Bearing in mind that we have seen the challenges, we've seen the crisis, we've seen the shooting, we've seen many other people being attacked, as in many places across the country. What should be the solution? Let me quickly start with the legal angle, short and precise, Mr. Ogun, and then Eunice, both of you, in fact, almost all of you have a legal background. Mr. Dele Ogun.
When a building has collapsed, you must rebuild from the foundations. You must clear the ground in order to lay the foundations for a new structure, a new Nigeria. That is the process that's ahead of us. It can only be done by a conference of the nationalities that were thrown into the sack, the 371 ethnic groups that were thrown into that sack by the British. It can only be done by a dialogue between all of them.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Okay. Eunice, been a lady and former candidate in the nation as well. And of course, you too has a legal background, and then you have experienced the challenges that many of the youth, and not just the youth, many people in the country has faced. What could be the solution?
I differ strongly from Dele, and the reason is Nigeria has already come to be. It's already a country. Going back to the British does not solve any problem. The most British people can do is stop funding things that they fund for Nigeria. They can't take back our sovereignty. They can't recolonize us to redesign what they badly designed in the first place. That falls squarely on our shoulders. And the reason it has not been able to be done so far is because our people are busy letting money decide things that should be decided by patriotism and commitment for the good of all of us. What I'm saying is the solution is actually, for me, it is too easy. It is so obvious, but a lot of us are not able to put it together. We're not looking at the issues where we should be looking. We are looking for solutions, long-term solutions to a problem that has been there from inception. The British people put it there. Our people helped to cement it. It is there. We need to melt it out and remove it from the roots. To get us moving, we must change the people that make decisions for us. This selection of the worst of us, I call it selection because that's truly what it is. I have seen a lot of the comments that we are rigged out, the INEC will not let us have fair and fair elections, military and all the things. These are all true. The system is heavily, heavily, heavily rigged against the good people of Nigeria, rigged against the young people of Nigeria, rigged against the women, rigged against all of us. Yes, it is true. But the solution is still in figuring out how to get us to get it to work. And I'm saying mobilizing us into the political structure of Nigeria is the only way out. Britain cannot do it for us. America cannot do it for us. UN cannot do it for us. Only us can do it for us. And the time to start understanding that is now. Everybody needs to understand that nobody outside of Nigeria can help Nigeria. It is only those of us within that country that can help the country. And the only way we can do it is through our politics. Military cannot do it, so it is through our politics. And the only way to take hold of that politics is to invite ourselves, open our minds. I didn't think in my life that I'll ever come out and be hustling the kind of hustle I do. I spent months dealing with the Edo State elections, trying to figure out how to help, and then learning also how these things are done. What do people do? How do they manage to rig elections? How can we stop it? And luckily for us, we're able to stop the mayhem from happening to Governor Obaseki in Edo State. It gives me confidence that we can stop Nigeria from stealing away our future. We can stop these bad leaders from continuing the way they have been doing for decades. The only way to do it is to get in there. Our young Nigerians should register to vote. Our young Nigerians should step out, show us what they can do for us so that the rest of us can come together and support them. We need 8,800 people as councillors. We need 774 people as local government area chairmen. We need 1,440 people as state houses of assembly members. We need 360 people as House of Representative members. We need 109 people as senators. We need 36 governors, 36 deputy governors, one president, one deputy president, and probably 80,000. That is as many as they are. 80,000 Nigerians who are appointed into the offices that are making these decisions for us home and abroad. We need to change all that to people who love Nigeria, who have sense, who want Nigeria to progress, who want to undo what the British had done, who want to undo what our fathers had done in bringing about this constitution that is killing us. Only young Nigerians with vision and passion for our country to work can do it. And the only way they can do it is to step out and get voted.
I appreciate that about the contribution and calling on all the youth of Nigeria to really come out, not just the youth, as I keep saying, because 84 million Nigerians that are registered to vote in Nigeria, it comprises of almost every age that is able to vote in the country. And of course, Otumba Oseni, you mentioned earlier you're in your 70s and you're shedding tears for Nigeria. Did you really see the solution? Were you ever maybe in your 40s then start thinking that Nigeria can be in this position? And as you can see her now, and most likely you have known some of the older generation leaders in the country, what should we do? Should we key into what Mr. Ogun says? Should we key into what Eunice said for you now to smile and know that Nigeria is on track to greatness?
Thank you, Alistair. Let me start by saying I want to stay in the middle. Here we have highly legal erudites, academics, who are well tutored, well learned friends. I'm just in the middle. But one thing I want to add to their presentations is we have a fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is who are we? Sometimes we behave like animals, and that is the truth. We behave like animal, and then it is also with the historical background of governance and people. UK, America, and Sweden, and other places, they don't use magic. They don't use magic. All what they use is they install. I've always said it is called a software called rule of law. So to go to finding solution, we need to install. But how do we get this installation done? If we wipe all the overlogged caches on our system, which we have for the last how many years? 60 years on. Who are we? What kind of human being are we? Are we really ready to abide, to allow somebody like Dele Ogu to practice as a professor of law, to help others? Or we allow somebody like Eunice to take her rightful place in our polity, in our system, as whatever she can do? We don't have that structure. We don't have that culture. And this is beginning of it all. We need to start thinking about how do we get this thing done. Like I said, there's no magic here in the UK. It is all rule of law. Any idiot can be posted to 10 Downing Street and make the machines of governance work. Any professors in our system, they I'm sorry, I don't want to use stupid words, but they're like idiots in our country. Dele Ogu said, here we have somebody who cannot even write his name. Here we have somebody, I campaigned for him. Here we have somebody who cannot, and it's also like a case of Dele Ogu is asking somebody to give him what he doesn't got. We're asking some of our leaders, and like I said in my initial reaction, most of these people, the only qualification they need is to go and to come from the garage. So we need to deal with that. How do we get this rule of law into our structure? As long as we continue thinking, because the question to both of them is, how do we get the ideal Nigerian that we say, yes, I am here. So these are issues.
Very good.
And give me 1 more minute, please. So solution to it is we have to devise a method. Yes, education is one of it. Our voting arrangement, our the electorate, most of them are bastardized. Their biggest problem is bread and butter. So as far as they are concerned, you can go tomorrow, give them another 2,000, because it's cheaper for the politicians to keep them permanently where they are. So these are the things we need as people who can read and write, to find a way to restructure. How do we get? And also, even if we have to go to another country, another whatever, he knows, as an elderly man, the problem will be the same. So we need to start strategizing. You understand me? How do we change the structure of this terrible situation we have in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. As we begin to round up or round down, Mr. Ogun, you have been there, you've seen it, you've written the book, The Fatherless Nation, I believe, or something of that nature title, and you are in the front of the issue of Nigeria being put together in the 1940s, 1914, and then we have a nation. Now, how easy will it be for the 370 plus ethnic groups to come together? And do you think they would take into consideration the outcome of that coming together? And your last word as well in that aspect, why do you think there won't be election in 2023?
Well, yes, I say again, there will not be election in 2023. This is not how you build up to election. This democracy or the fraud of democracy under Buhari has been exposed. He was always a soldier wearing agbada, and the uniform has now come out for everybody to see. In terms of the solution, I have said it in the book, I say it again. You must build a structure that respects, that is based on equity and equality for each of the ethnic groups. It's common sense. try and make themselves one Europe. They recognize the reality of the difference between the Germans, the French, the Italians, etc., and the Brits who've now pulled out of Europe. That is human nature. We've tried to make ourselves superhuman, to say that we are devoid and free of natural human instincts of preferring one's own. We're not advocating separation, but we're advocating a slight retreat, because being too close can be as dangerous as being too distant. We need to retreat, give ourselves a little bit space, respect each of the ethnic groups. And the way this one Nigeria nonsense clearly is not. It's winner takes all. You cannot afford a winner takes all philosophy where you've got such diversity, 371 ethnic groups. You simply cannot. So will it be difficult? Of course it will. But as it happened in South Africa, where they thought, the Afrikaans thought, as the Fulani are thinking, is winner takes all, and we're the king of the castle, and everybody take whatever we give them. When they realized they could not win, and all the others rallied together to face them, that was the beginning of wisdom, and that was the beginning and the genesis of the Rainbow Nation, which they're now enjoying and living in relative peace and security. That is the way Nigeria has to go. And I encourage everybody today, get out there at Northumberland Avenue, the High Commission. I'll see you there at 3 o'clock.
Thank you. Eunice, your last line.
Yeah, my last line is please, Nigerians, especially young Nigerians, please, the only way out is through politics. Without playing the politics, we will not be able to end SARS. We will not be able to end bad governance in Nigeria. We will not be able to give our children a better future than these our fathers and our grandfathers have given us. We will not be able to create a better Nigeria than the colonial masters gave us, and will not be able to create a better one than our fathers, the Azikiwes and all of them gave us. The only way to bring about the end of SARS, to bring about the end of NAS payment that is like 50% of our whole money goes to people that we elect to look after us. The only way to change that is for Nigerians who have the brain, who have the passion, who have the love for all of us, no matter your tradition, no matter your religion, no matter your gender, as long as you love the rest of Nigeria. The way we can do this is to hold on to this EndSARS movement, continue to mobilize ourselves into many. All the political parties in Nigeria should be taken over by well-meaning Nigerians. Let us see how they are going to impose candidates if it is not the ones we vote for. Please come out, guys.
Thank you. Otumba, you have 30 seconds, please. Okay, somehow I can't hear Otumba.
Otumba is muted.
You have 5 seconds left.
Okay, that's good. Sorry about that. Now, I agree with the speakers. You know, they said it right. The only addition I'm putting into what you have said is we need to understand and understudy the fundamental cause and causes of our problem. Yes, Delogun said, if we break into pieces, maybe better. Yeah, Yoruba people say, let's chase away the eagle and then come back to the children, to the chicken and so on and so on. I agree with that, but the problem is also that even if we break up tomorrow, there is a huge amount of hurdles we need to go through. So we might as well use the opportunity to sit down and address the cause and causes of our problem. People are so bastardized that they don't even know what they are doing. And finally, I want to say this: the children, the youth, they should continue. There's no going back, no retreat. They cannot afford to go back. They started it. They must finish it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being on this special EndSARS program that we put together. And thank you very much for Anthony, Hazel, and the team, especially doing this wonderful technical work behind the scene. And surely enough, we'll be bringing you more update, more program to do with Nigeria, to do with Africa, to do with the Black Lives Matter, to do with our situation in the United Kingdom, COVID-19, and every other thing that we need to do within our own Black communities. So once again, I thank you very much for staying with us, and we shall be back again and keep you informed. Please let all the people know that the Black media in the United Kingdom and Europe are definitely with making our countries and our continent and our people much more better than before. Until then, have a good day. Thank you very much. Bye.